whose core objective is to ensure the safety and security of the state, with professionals that are dedicated to that job. And I think that is the core of why you are here. So we are very happy to have them. I'm very proud of what they do every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader, for your kind words. It seems to me that is the purpose of everything. Yeah. So, my good lady on my right will continue.
Thank you, Chair. My last question. IG, I want all of us to disabuse the perceptions out there. From the onset of these proceedings, the evidence adduced to the fact that the tape was meant for the president. And Chief Bugri Nabu went to the extent of telling the committee that he handed over the tape to the president. I was surprised when the witnesses mentioned that you have the original tape. What can you tell the committee about this? Or what can you say about this? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, another wide allegation. I don't know which of them, my brothers who made that statement. Then I could probably ask the committee for him to go with me and tell me where I put it. Because technically, I don't have it. I don't know about it. So why should somebody come here and make such wild allegation without proving a bit of it? And then I'm asked to respond to it. Honorable Chair, I beg of you. I beg of you. I don't have it. And I pray that maybe going forward, we should make sure when people make allegations, they should provide at least a shred of evidence before maybe an invitation is made for somebody to come and speak to it. But now, looking at the proceedings and the way I feel, it's like allegations have been made, and then nobody provided a shred of evidence, and the allegations are out there in the public, and the allegations touches on my person, even though it has nothing directly to do with me, especially with all the wild allegations they are made about the management of the police service, which I do with my team, because without the word we, I can't make any pronouncement when I'm leading an organization. I don't use the word I. Then I'm being asked to speak to allegations that have not been substantiated with a shred of evidence. Then, after I've answered the allegations, I'm being told that when there is a in-camera meeting, those people who have evidence to now substantiate allegations, then why couldn't we have waited for them to provide all those over allegations, even though belated? Evidence, even though belated. For myself and my counsel to look at them, and probably those that extend beyond me with my management board, whom I always work in concert with, to look at them, and then we can come and apply them appropriately. But now, allegation unsubstantiated, I'm speaking to it, and my feeling is that that is the bit of it that will be for the public. But the rare game has been put is what they now have again against me. And yet we have also been told that it's not a police service which is on trial here, because we have police institutional structures to deal with anybody who has a complaint, which I know they don't have, except that the shame that have come upon them. They are trying to twist it and divert attention. We allow them to go on that fishing expedition, acting as octopuses in their quest to find something by whatever means to affect my person and my integrity. Which I think we need to look at this carefully, because that is not fair. Having said that, I don't have anything. I don't know about it. And they should stop it. I thank you.
Excuse me. Inspector General, please. With the greatest of respect, the allegation started at plenary. And the Speaker thought it wise that he should delve into the allegations. So we should be careful the manner in which we want to look at what is happening, lest it can even go to say that the Speaker was wrong. The Speaker should have, with the greatest respect, done his own homework very well and even adduce evidence before making the referral. So I crave your indulgence. It might not be palatable, but what I know, and most people know, that the so-called allegations were on the video, on the audio tape. You will call it allegations, fine. And those allegations had penetrated the realm called Ghana. It's gone viral. And some people have spoken to those matters. You are doing the same. If they cannot substantiate what they are saying, you are blessed. That's the end of the matter. But we've also been warned that we should be careful that we don't wash our dirty linen in public. So this is a very, strategic interrogation we are trying to do. Not that we didn't have a sense of doing a good job by saying that bring the substance of the matter first before we start the interrogation. Because what we had to start off with is the basic raw material, which is a video. What are we going to do about it? The audio, I'm sorry. So please, it's a sense of how you say, but the sense of parliament is different. Because if you are not careful, then you want to even indict the referral from the Speaker. The Speaker is not considering what we call substantive matters. You know, the Speaker is a conveyor belt of allegations. That is it. That will be the import if you push your argument too far. But let's leave it. But today, I'm sure everybody in Ghana will see that this committee has been very fair to the IGP. I have to tell it to your face. Because a window of opportunity was given to the IGP to state his position. We've not asked you for evidence, have we? We've not asked you to give us any evidence. They did the same. But the evidence, if any, will be in camera. So we don't know where we've gone wrong in this matter. But I am of the humble view that we'll give the devil his due. If there is no evidence, trust this committee to state it forcefully that the individuals here, they were on a frolic of their own. The whole thing is actuated by malice. They do not have any evidence here to be part of our findings of fact. But how can we do the findings of fact if we don't now invite them? Would you be able to substantiate what is on the tape? This is what we are trying to do. Because the tape came first as the allegation, and we need the substance of the tape. And what can we do about it? Unless we call somebody to say whether this is your voice on the tape and the rest of it. So please, I know that it's a difficult moment for everybody, institutional challenges, the rest of it. But I don't see any other way that we could have gone about what we are doing. You see, because we need to really weigh the issues critically, and then we'll have those moments. And your lawyer will be there if they are unable to substantiate it. We know how to write our report. So please, I know it's a painful moment for you, but we didn't originate the trouble. This committee didn't originate the trouble. And we didn't see any other strategic way of trying to handle a difficult matter like this, which was already in the public domain. the allegations that you are talking about has been fed the public already before we were constituted. So I crave your kind indulgence, have a little patience for us, and trust this committee that there's nothing that will do untoward. And if the evidence is in your favor, you have it, and your name will be hallowed. As for allegations, they can remain allegations, but if you can't prove it, you will say so, that X and Y couldn't prove it. If they can prove it, you will say so, that they proved it. So please, it's like that. I don't want to talk about my allegations against me. I don't want to talk about it. Even concerning this meeting. Yeah. So please, let's have some patience, and the truth will come out. You don't have to worry too much about it. Madam, do you have more issues raised?
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chairman, I have a minor point.
You have a
minor point. Mr. Chairman, going back to where you ended and the process, and whether there was a different way of structuring this process. This is taking us back to the point I made earlier. So there is a tape, video or audio, then testimonies of witnesses. The substantiation should have been done at the time that the testimonies were given. That's what has brought us to where we are. And the way it is going now, I'm beginning to get worried about the in-camera proceeding. And my proposition would be as follows: that the people who want to go and do their ex post facto substantiation.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. I crave your indulgence. Why are you trying to sort of impugn what you don't know? You don't know.
Honorable Chairman.
Oh, counsel, I crave your indulgence. You see how your client has behaved. He's taking it easy and he's going on a tangent. When I know it's pain, I draw his attention that the truth will come out. But I will not want to say, sitting here, to talk about post facto what? Yes, it was us. Listen carefully. It was us, and the sense of what we got about the matter, that we said, let's talk about whatever I want. Then we'll sit in camera and you bring your, what if, let me ask you this question. What if they started bringing the evidence in the open, which is so embarrassing and is so serious that it will undermine national security? There would have been, with the greatest of respect, if you like, the unreasonable men who said everything should come into the public space. That is no exercise of discretion. If you like, let me show you the authorities. What we are doing. There's an authority for it. And I know you are a very powerful lecturer, but let's look at, I think you've paid regard to this Supreme Court authority of Raphael Kubaji and versus Asari and others. Counsel, you know this authority. The Supreme Court.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let me tell you what a principle that the Supreme Court enunciated. That's what we call substantial danger of unfair prejudice. There's something like that. That if we are not careful, some matters will bring about substantial danger of unfair prejudice. And also the Supreme Court said the one who is listening to evidence should have the power of what they call discretionary exclusionary rule. That is the point. So the referee or the judge should have the power of discretionary exclusionary rule. So you can use your discretion to exclude some things because of what you and I know could have national security implications. And you could use your discretion to permit some things. So even the Supreme Court allows that this is done. But in the final analysis, I do not know that you will be shortchanged. Because look at all the space we're giving the IGP. I mean, to also, put his case across. Do you want me to go into issues of evidence?
Honorable Chairman.
Please.
So, where I was going to end would have been as follows. Once we complete this public hearing, we would beg leave of the committee and leave and go home and let the committee meet whoever has evidence to substantiate whatever. Subsequently, share that evidence with us. We'll spend time to review it and invite us back.
Council, leave that to us. I've never seen somebody going to play a football match. And as a matter of fact, is trying to determine the scores. I know you are a lawyer of repute, but leave it to the committee and credit us with a modicum of honesty. 1, powers of discretion, and above all, common sense. Trust me, and I want to say so, and all the members here, Patrick Boama is not cheap. My brother, my vice chairman is not cheap. These are police officers. What will be the credit to us to mess up your client, the head of the police service, and by extension the entire service? All these matters, we've been educated about it, and we will tell you how we're going to run these matters. In fact, we need to also do serious consultations as well, because even in our meeting, I don't have to tell you everything. Before we met you, some issues have come up. It's not got to do with any evidence. It's got to do with procedure, command structures, and how you treat the one in China. We will look at all these things. So please don't be apprehensive about anything. What you are going to get from this committee is that the IGP and any other witness will never be shortchanged by this committee. I want to state that forcefully, because people are calling me about it. I have to be very sensitive about what you are doing. There's nobody here that will use this platform to discredit. You won't do it. So, Council,
Chairman, thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Be rest assured. Leader, you want to leave here? Okay.
Well, let me thank you very much, and let me thank the committee for the work so far. And let me take the opportunity to let the police service know the police service is not on trial. And I was very clear in my mind when I stood up on the floor of Parliament to basically call on the Speaker. And all the reason I did that was because I heard voices of professional police officers supposedly said things that were unbelievable, that I thought should not be said. And I said to myself that, is this true? If this is true and it permeates in the police service, we need to know and address it in the recommendations so that we can be sure that we have professional police service that will protect the interests of this country, especially when it comes to the stability of this country and our democracy, which is really renewed every 4 years in elections. And so, to the proud police officers that are dedicated and professionals, that are honest, that are doing the right thing, there's nothing to worry about. Precisely. And so I want to thank you. The police service is on trial. Good people of the police service are not on trial. People who are in the police service, who are turning it into a political football, are those who we want to fish out. And that's the mandate of this committee. Thank you.
Well said. Now, unknown to me, and in the background, is the Deputy Interior Minister, Honorable Nana Iya. I'm sorry, we were hiding, so we didn't see you. Yes, as an MP, this is your rightful place. I'm sorry about it. Yeah. Where is the Honorable Deputy Minister? Oh, please, why don't you come and take your rightful place as a member of Parliament? You are okay here. But solidarity to the Inspector General of Police, or you came to observe proceedings? The IGP must be important, you know. Yes. I see. Good to know. To finish. Okay, now I will ask a few questions and then I won't go beyond it. And then I'll give space to my brother over here, and then I'll come to Vice if he has more things to say. Aji, I got the impression that when you are a senior police officer, you can be an ADC to anybody, and it doesn't matter who is in power. It seems to me that is your lot. Is that not so?
Honorable Chair, the most important thing is this. We are police officers who have sworn an oath to do the job of policing. And wherever you are assigned, you have no choice and you don't complain.
I got the impression you were with Professor, my lecturer in company law, one of the best lecturers I've met, of blessed memory, Professor John Evans Atamels. You know, when he was vice president, you were the AD camp, were you?
Honorable Chair, I think I've addressed this question a couple of times and did indicate that I was an ADC.
Good.
So
yes, and I get the flow. I'm not confused at all. And also, you also helped now the National Security Minister as a special assistant. The same man.
Yes, I did.
And when he left the place, Honorable Kwame Batels came, also an MPP man, and then you were there to assist.
Yes, I did.
Okay, fine. Now, there is something very interesting, and it is that you have been dealing with the former president, former President John Mahama, and you've been I nearly said you've been flirting, you know. You've been engaging consistently. Is there any truth in that? And what is the content of your engagement?
Honorable Chair, that is incorrect. Another set of allegations, just another set of allegations, just as it is, to make it look that I'm a policeman who is doing politics. I am not. I'm a professional police officer, and I don't do such things. So it is falsehood, unless maybe they have something to prove that. But it is falsehood. It's not true. So they should stop it. They can use any other means to get any other thing that they want, but not lying about me in a serious manner. I thank you.
Is there anything wrong?
Honorable Chair.
Let me finish. Is there anything wrong for an Inspector General of Police to be talking to the opposition leader. Is there anything wrong?
Honorable Chair, the position of Inspector General of Police, and by extension every police officer, is to serve the good people of this country, of which the former president is one of those. And there is nothing wrong with that. But there is a distinction between something that has happened and something that has not happened, and people want to create it in order to make their case look good, so as to for them to get what they want, because they know that type of information sells, and that is shameful.
Do you visit ex-president Dramani Mahama? Do you visit him?
Honorable Chair, I don't visit His Excellency the Vice and the former president. I don't.
Does he visit you?
Honorable Chair, the former president does not visit me.
Will you rebuff his visits, and why?
Honorable Chair, like I said, I am a professional police officer. We are servants of the people, including His Excellency the former president. And in my earlier submission, I did say, even including a child of a week old, as long as there is a service from policing point of view to be provided, whoever is involved, I have a constitutional duty and responsibility to get it done. And that is what it is.
Good. There is would I be right to say that, I mean, in terms of rank, you are a subordinate of the IGP? Okay, fine. There is a member of parliament here, and he's a member of the committee, and you are subordinate. And he says that he has some questions for you. I've told him that you should be careful that all the rules about the command structure and service inquiry and police council, you shouldn't write a book this afternoon. So please, honorable member, before you is your superior.
Honorable Chair.
Oh,
sorry.
Yes.
No, I'm not. You described my colleague as he's a retired superintendent of police.
Oh, okay.
He left the service honorably, and so now there are no strings attached whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
If you put him in that pigeonhole, you know, you are mentioning service inquiry, and so it means that he could actually become the subject of an inquiry if he doesn't comport himself well in the presence of the IGP. We need to clear the air that my colleague is a retired officer, just as Honorable Ophelia is. She's also a retired police woman. She's no longer subject to the discipline of the service.
Okay.
So we need to highlight some of these things so that we are guided.
I can see the IGP's lawyer is laughing now, because he knows that if these people were serving police officers, they wouldn't be sitting here. I forgive your trespasses. I forgive your trespasses. So, Honorable, the IG is before you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. I think that the Ghana Police Service is very proud to have members coming from that angle sitting in Parliament, because there are some technical issues that anytime we find ourselves in committees like this, we provide some level of expertise. And that is why even the chairman himself is confused. He thinks that having served as a police officer before, if I sit as a member of Parliament and the Inspector General of Police is before me to ask questions, I will be a bit intimidated because he used to be my boss. That is not the case. What is the case is that the IGP is happy to find some of his sons in other jurisdictions doing fantastically well and still making the police proud wherever we find ourselves. Mr. Chairman, I want to take the opportunity to let the IGP know, as you've said it, and I need to re-echo, the Ghana Police Service is not on trial.
Very good.
No. Yes. The Inspector General of Police is not an accused person. No. What we are doing, strictly according to our mandate, is to ensure, the bigger picture is that we should ensure that we have a better Ghana Police Service. A police service that is professional, a police service that respects the laws of this country, and a police service that can work well for us to go and sleep well. So if you head that institution, anytime we find you, we'll revere you, praying that you appreciate the fact that you were appointed to discharge a particular function. And in this broad country where you have your role to play, it is our prayer that you do it well, such that one day when you retire, as your colleagues are all gone, I've worked with Mr. Paul Tawiakoe, I've worked with Mr. Ahmed Al-Hassan, I've worked with Mr. David Asanteapitu. So just be aware that one day you will also be gone. But when you are gone, what will be your legacy? The question. IG, all these things you are talking about is all about your leadership style and what is your vision? So my first question is, what is your vision as Inspector General of Ghana Police Service?
Honorable Chair, thank you very much. The first point I have to make is that even though it has been handled, even if my colleagues were to be in the service, they will still have the privilege of asking me questions and asking them, because I have a listening ear. And I keep telling my colleagues here, and they keep even teasing me with it, because I tell them, God knows why He gave us, each one of us, 2 years and 1 month. From that analysis philosophically, I think God wants us to listen more and talk half of the time of the listening. That is why the ratio is 2:1. You listen twice, you speak once. That is my understanding. So the police I lead, I work it out in such a way that my colleagues and I, as we tour the country, engaging the police people across the country, something I've done about 92% with all my colleagues, and then engaging the personnel and the communities.
Sorry, Chairman. Sorry, Aji. You know, I won't allow you to take a whole of the time because I want you to go and rest. But you answer my question. What is the vision of the IGP? Straight, just simple. Because there are questions that will follow. I just want you to state the vision, then we'll go ahead. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, allow me to finish. I was about landing, so that I'm not cut halfway. And also, I will plead with you, in order to ensure that I flow appropriately. I'm very measured in terms of the answers I give, and you have failed it. I know when to end it. So the important point is that this engagement gives me the privilege to hear more and work with our colleagues to use it to improve it. And even that, as I speak to you, is the part of the vision that I came onto the position with. But that vision has to be in tandem with the vision of the police service. And that is my vision. My personal vision is my commitment to work in concert with my leaders, my officers at the national level, at the regional level, at the divisional level, at the district level, at the station level, to turn the corner in terms of policing in this country. And like I said, to make the police the best institution in the country and a reference point for Africa and beyond. And this also sits well with the broad vision of the police service, which is to become a world-class police service capable of delivering a planned, democratic, protective, and peaceful services up to the standard of international best practice. So when we get to the standard of international best practice, then definitely there is every indication that we become a best institution that people can use as a reference point when they want to set standards. So that is what it is. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. IG, On your appointment, you were seen by many as the constable's IGP, the sergeant's IGP. In other words, the other ranks IGP. Because you've been a constable before. You've been a sergeant before. You were seen as the senior police officer's IGP because you've traveled from ASP to where you are now. You were seen as the academics IGP. You hold a PhD. You were seen as a professional. And in fact, many of the professionals see you as one of them. And they believe that if you fail, you will not be forgiven. You have promotion speedily. In less than 7 years, you move from constable to superintendent. And that was academic. I am referring you to regulation, the Police Service Regulation 2012. If I read Regulation 37.7, it says, that's CI 76. An officer who attains higher academic qualification is not entitled to promotion by reason only of that academic qualification. IG, this is the lacuna in this instrument from 2012 up to date. It's more than 10 years. People have gone to school, they've completed. But the law says you cannot be promoted by virtue of just having that academic certificate alone. Having benefited from academic promotions yourself. Do you think it is time to look at this provision again?
Honorable Chair, this provision, like Honorable Member did refer to, has been in existence since 2012, and if I'm not mistaken, October of that year. And it has been something that has been implemented since then by all successive police administrations. And the Ghana Police Service under my watch now is ensuring compliance of that law. So our hands are tied when it comes to people who have gone to school and they are coming and they are asking for promotion. And it didn't start on the watch of this current administration. It is 11 years or more ago. And this is something that has been implemented. But unfortunately, it is being circulated around and making it feel that as if the current administration that I lead, we have denying people their promotion because they have gone to school. And then it has become difficult for me to speak to it because after they have petitioned the police council asking for some sort of mercy in terms of this promotion, and while the police council was considering the matter, they took it to court. So it's not something that is the creation of the current administration. It is 11 or something years old, and the people involved know it. But they present the matter out there and make it look like it is the current administration which has come to invent something to deny their promotion. That is not a good thing, that you allow your selfish interest to overshadow the reputation of an institution and an individual and a team leading it now. So in terms of the attempt to change it, Honorable Chair, the law is as it is. We cannot involve ourselves as an administration in illegality as those who came before us did not involve themselves in that illegality. So if there is anything to be done about it, that would be the suggestion you are looking at. Because I am a believer of education, not for the purposes of getting a paper qualification, but a mental qualification of knowledge, and not just having the knowledge stored in your head, but the knowledge being applied. Because this is only then knowledge becomes power. It's not its accumulation with that application. So, Honorable Chair, until the matter is determined in court, it will be difficult for me to speak to the possible amendment or otherwise of that regulation. I thank you.
IG, I think the question is seeking to elicit an opinion from you, looking at the way the provision is couched, you know, and so we are aware that some officers have sued, but nevertheless, you know, such an opinion would not be prejudicial to what is before the courts, because this committee, if you look at the terms of reference, we have also been tasked to make recommendations which possibly could lead to legislative reform. Yeah. And so that is, I think, what the Honorable Peter had in mind. We are not dragging you into the pending litigation where you could be cited for or contempt. In any case, you are privileged because you are before Parliament. Whatever happens here, I mean, nobody can take you out and cite you for contempt for speaking to a committee of Parliament. Because you are the one who implements this particular regulation. So if it is no longer fit for purpose, I mean, you could share your thoughts with us and then we can be guided as a committee. I mean, it's very important, this particular provision.
Yes. You want to make an intervention?
No. No.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I was just worried about the pending case.
Yes. In fact, I was going to respectfully invite the IGP to do a paper if he doesn't have confidence in this regulation, and then we will know how the minister will have to do the necessary amendments. So that's what it is. I don't want him to dilate on the entire thing, but the legal department and is coming together. You can do a paper that, look, this is very inimical to, I mean, the progress of others in the service or otherwise. So please, let's leave it as it is, but I agree with council that we should leave it as it is. And if there's any paper, you can share it with the committee and then we look at it. Council, are you winding up?
Honorable Chair, if I may.
Honorable Chair, I'm done. Once you have agreed with me.
Honorable Chair, if I may say something slightly on that matter, because I was going to end a component in respect, I was going to add a little thing in respect of that question, because my brother did refer to the privilege I had benefiting from that. But the most important thing is that I will be the last person, and in fact, the very last person to deprive anybody of his promotion. I can't even think of that. My colleagues who work with us in the context of the appointment and promotion board cannot even think of that. We work as a team. So we want it to be on record. And thank you.
So, Inspector General of Police, be good enough to give us a paper relative to the regulation 37.7, and then we'll make it part of our recommendations. Officer and Member of Parliament, are you winding up or you have a long way to go?
Chairman, thank you very much. I just started, but you know what you did to me? Basically, what he did was make sure that I'm the last person to speak. So many of the questions will be gone, and they're actually gone. So don't worry, I will soon finish. Inspector General of Police, you and I know that when you go on parade and they say stand at ease, it is a leadership drill that is being taught even at that basic level. As you open your legs wide, one leg is on the police public, your other leg is on the general public. And when you stand well, you are relaxed. That is why we say you are at ease. At any material time that the police public is not happy or the general public is not happy, you find yourself wobbling. Commissioner Mensah says, in his opinion, you are the worst IGP in his 31-year-old career. That is his opinion. And he cited things like even assessing crime statistics these days by the public is difficult. Police public relations officers across the regions have all been shut up. They don't speak again. You are here with us, and it's an opportunity. For me, I think there's an opportunity for you to tell Ghanaians. If this assessment from Commissioner Mensah is wrong, as you alluded to initially, and you mentioned a lot of things that you are doing, I've also just mentioned two things that he also mentioned. In doing the balancing act, what will be your comment regarding public relations activities and accessibility to information from the police by the public? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, thank you. Honorable Chair, listening to the Honorable Member, I picked 3 of them, and maybe one is in one container. Two are in one container, and the other is in a different container. The first one, you were talking about the police community. And I can assure you, the police community is at peace with itself. Let me say this, Honorable Chair, as leaders and by godly natural design, you can't have everybody liking you. And even it will not happen that everybody will like you. Let's be very analytical on this matter. As somebody who believes in tradition and culture because of my multi-ethnic background as a Ghanaian, everywhere you want to install a chief or a busuapeni, not everybody will agree on a candidate. Yet at the end of the day, we get a candidate, and the rest who may not like that candidate, the leader and the leadership have to find a way of pulling everybody together. Even if you want to be very divine, let's go to the religious field, where God Almighty superintend in terms of who should be his rep in this world in connecting to us as his creation. Even in there, when a leader of a church is being appointed, they go through a process where some people may choose somebody and then others also may choose. But at the end of the day, the one who marshals the maximum numbers become. And not everybody did that for him. And Honorable Chair, permit me to use your individual self in terms of your constituency election to become members of parliament. Nobody voted and got 100% before coming here. And even in some cases, nobody even got 50%, especially when you have multiple candidates. So some people may be members of parliament with about 40% or thereabout, representing a constituency made up of 100% of people. That is what it is. So in the same context within the police service, as Inspector General of Police, working with my colleagues, we as a team, we can get everybody appreciating what we do. But this is what we do differently. Because we have what I call mindfulness mindset. We are aware of this and we try to get everybody along, in respect of whether the person likes or does not. And I've demonstrated it. These are my brothers. In spite of all what is happening, at the break, I work with them. We have the chat. Means getting along. We may have differences, but that should not stop us from working together. So this is what we've done, pulling everybody together and having majority, a very substantial majority of the police community being so happy and falling in love with us because we won their hearts and minds in terms of what we do. And I give you about 3 of them. First, and I started this when I was the Director General Welfare. I toured almost everywhere in the country, visiting police people who are indisposed and they are in their homes. Some years, nobody has visited them. And it gave me an understanding of the suffering of some police people when they are becoming disposed and everybody has forgotten about them. So through that, we work on mechanisms and brought them to the picture and provided them with all the support that they need. It's something that I have continued when I became the Inspector General of Police. Everywhere across the country that I have been to, the 92 or thereabout %, going to every village, every town, every city across the country, I touch base and visit all police people who are indisposed. And after that, we work towards making sure that they get the needed help. That led to even the establishment of the Police Emergency Medical Intervention Fund that can take every police officer to everywhere in the country and be provided with support. These are some of the soft touches, soft things that we do beyond all the broad things, including not denying everybody promotion and having a listening ear. But 2 more of those soft things. Anytime, anybody, and mostly at the highest level, need to be reassigned, I call them personally. Some of them, after we have discussed at POMAP, and we think that this person should go here and go there, at times we put it even across for POMAP to look and suggest names that will go to places. And I call them personally to check and plead with them based on my regimental diplomacy so that they can go and function there. So that they go with a very positive and encouraged mindset. So that at the end of the day, where those people have issues, maybe my child is preparing for BC, maybe I just moved my family from this place and my wife or somebody is involved in something, we consider it. And when we consider that, we stop it and then find alternative officer to handle that. Again, every police officer, including all my colleagues at the very top, brother, sister, is how I introduce them. And then, speaking to them, please, thank you, regimental diplomacy. And finally, another soft top, until recently that I've reduced it. Every day across the country, I pick 1 police officer in each region celebrating his birthday or her birthday, and I call to wish the person a happy birthday. All in the quest of bringing everybody on board, especially the limited number who naturally, by natural law, will not be with you, so that they also feel comfortable and belong. Imagine you are there in your district or station and receive a call, and IGP said, today is your birthday. I've been in a region Nicodemously organized for a cake and walk to a police station and handing over the cake to the person, and then becomes a party there and then. So we know that not everybody will like us, but we have a way of making sure that everybody feel belong. And we've done that with my colleagues as a team and getting to that. Now coming to the other issue of the Public Affairs Department. Honorable Chair, It is something we have discussed at POMAP, agree upon a strategy for redefining our engagement with the public in a manner that sits well with international best practice. You have had a system where you get up in the morning, everybody across the country, across at times district, division, and regional level, granting interviews on matters of police from a perspective that at times not informed by the full facts. And at the end of it all, when the facts come, the organization look unpresentable, and you keep dampening the spirit of the organization and continue to smear the image of the service in bad light. So we agreed at POMAP that we need to redefine it as part of our transformation agenda, such that at the end of the day, before you speak to a matter, be sure that you have the full facts, so that gradually we will create a system where something happened and the whole community, the whole people will say that until the police have come out, we don't believe what is being said. Rather than having a system where everybody is talking, would have truth, and putting the police in bad light because people think that it's coming from the police, it's not creditworthy. How can we then win the hearts and minds of the public for them to partner with us to police them in a manner that will make the country feel at peace? So all this matter is not the invention of Dampare. It is something that we've looked at and then got all the commanders at all levels involved and get their input before it's handled. Because I quite remember a police management with regional commanders meetings were held, and all the PROs were brought, and they deliberated on this, and we all saw that this is good for the organization. Then the question that came, then how do we do things and inform the public timely so that there won't be any gap? Then we said that we will not sit down for things to happen on Friday and we behave as if we are not a security institution. We said that it is in the weekend, so we will inform the public the next Monday. But we know, from my little understanding of media and information space, it's like a chair. Whoever walks in first sits on it. And you cannot come and sit on top of him or her. By that time, the public might have been informed or misinformed based on that information. So we need to have a very efficient way of getting information there as soon as possible. That is why you see that in recent times, information from police across all our media space are delivered on matters as soon as we have the full facts that will inform the public to continue to deepen their trust, confidence, and respect for us. We do that irrespective of the time of the day. You can have us seen coming out with information in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the night, at dawn. And at times when you release information at dawn, then you hear the next day people are saying, these people, don't they sleep? Because we love what we do, and we are committed doing it. So we are living international best practice. And this has redefined the way we go about pushing half-truth there and using that to dampen the spirit of the organization. And finally, we have even gone to the extent of ensuring that when that information is out there, there is no way it becomes something that people cannot rely on. So, Honorable Chair, there is nothing that we are doing that is not informed by our strategy to transform and become the best institution in the country and reference point for the world. And by way of example, internationally and nationally, we are also learning from other institutions the way they conduct their public affairs. So the international standards we are looking for is both national in character and an international also in character or design. So we are very focused in working together as a team and with the public and with all stakeholders, including Parliament, to ensure that we have the best police service in Africa and beyond. I thank you.
So, Honorable, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I have one question, and then I will just make it very brief. It is in two parts, A and B. The A is just requiring you to say yes or no. The A is requiring you to just say yes or no. IG, has Chief Buguru Nabu ever lobbied for you to become or to be appointed Inspector General of Police? Just yes or no.
Honorable Chair, the fundamental point is this. I have been in the service for all this long. By the grace of God.
Aji, I crave your kind indulgence. Your man is saying just answer yes or no. Was he part of the lobbying team to get you, appointed as the IG? Yes or no?
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
The answer is no.
IG, you should count yourself very lucky that you found a parliamentary committee telling you that this document here, CI 76, should be reviewed. I'm sure if you wanted to review it and you wanted to get parliamentarians to listen to you, you go through a lot of frustration. So this is free counseling. The last question. You and I know that if a police regional commander reports to you that a particular district commander doesn't have the capacity to become a district commander, and he wants you to transfer him or her, the question you'll be asking is, where should I send him or her to? What have you done about the incapacity or incompetence of such an officer? You have a responsibility to recommend capacity building for such an officer so that the person will be updated for use. You can't abandon an officer and the government will be paying such a person at your level. If you find an assistant commissioner, a chief superintendent of police, probably 6-7 years in his rank, not being promoted by virtue of the fact that the person's competence level is questionable, IGP, two options: abandon to rot or spend money to build capacity and promote and use. Which one will be your choice? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, the most important thing is that it's something that we have found a way of deliberating upon it since I came on board as the head of the organization. And my colleagues and I, we've not been able to agree, and knowing the point I've made here, that I've always been a team player. And once we've not have a solid consensus, that has been the bane of the issue. But I can assure you, it's a deep reflection for us, and we are going to look at it and work with God's speed and get that thing handled in a manner that everybody will feel at peace. I thank you.
Now, Vice Chair.
This question may not sound palatable to the ears of the political class, but nevertheless I would ask, with your kind permission, Chairman, IGP, it has been said here that you are in the habit of arresting politicians for traffic infractions. An example was given to the effect that a second vice chairman of a political party was arrested by they said you. What is your reaction to this? Do you have applied your laws in a targeted manner with the aim to fishing out politicians and dealing with them, so to speak. I need your reaction to this because it's very important, you know.
Honorable Chair, the most important thing is this. I am the Inspector General of Police. I work in concert with my officers at POMAB and all other commanders across the country. As we sit here, people have been arrested in accordance with law. I am not the one doing the arrest. So I have not personally arrested anybody by being discriminatory. It's just that police officers are out there doing their work of enforcing the law. And then they are not doing it on my instructions. They are doing it in accordance with the laws of the country which have been passed by Parliament. So this is exactly what they are doing out there. And we understand the discomfort that such arrests by these officers happen. And I pray and wish that as a country we'll get to a point where our compliance with law will be such that those arrests will not even arise. Because, Honorable Chair, you agree with me. When my colleagues and I had opportunity with this privilege, and once again, with appreciation to Mr. President for appointing me as Inspector General of Police, in our quest to transform, we saw that indiscipline on our roads were getting to a point of no return. And the number of accidents and the associated death or injuries leading to amputation of legs and hands and other parts of the body was becoming something unthinkable. So we decided to work in a way that will send the right message to everybody that let us come back to our Ghanaianness of being disciplined for the sake of the lives of everybody. So the arrest of people is so unpleasant to the leadership of the police service, especially when they're involved in people occupying important positions in society. Not to say that anybody is above the law in a way, but to make the point that we wanted as a team and as an institution responsible for the work that they are doing to encourage everybody to be in compliance. And the level that the thing has gotten to, we needed to come out with something that will send a message, which as we speak, it has been sent. Now look at the sanity on our roads. Look at the number of lives being saved. And let's go to the hospitals and find out the reduction in amputation of legs, hands, and other parts of people's body because somebody is being disciplined on the road. And as I keep saying, if you have had patience enough to be in our mother's womb for 9 months before birth, you should be patient enough to wait for 2 minutes or less for a traffic light to come green. Or be patient enough to knowing that I'm traveling and I need to catch my flight. And the flight is, say, at 2 o'clock. To finish everything and get to the port before that, than to be in hurry and then be in the middle or some other places impeding the free flow of traffic. The questions that we normally ask. So touch wood. Supposing whilst you were going, you knock somebody down, what will you do? Will you still continue the journey or you will stop? So putting all this together, we were mindful of what it is that needs to be done in order to regain the consciousness of the people so as to save life. And the final thing in relation to that is the arrest of motorbikes under one of the initiatives that my colleagues and I have put in place called Operation Parry, Police Action Against Rider Indiscipline. We looked at it and we said that riders crossing red light, left, right, center, driving on pavement and all that is also another bigger problem. But we cannot apply the same methodology for dealing with the vehicles to the riders, because these riders, that is the riding he or she does, mostly he, for his livelihood. And at times, even the value of the motorbike that they are using is at times less than 1,000 Ghana cedis, or maximum some 2,000, 3,000. And they do this indiscipline, and you arrest such a driver, such a rider, and you send him or her to court, and the court found him or her guilty, and say that you are supposed to pay a fine of say about 1,000. Even if he sells the motorbike, he won't be able to raise the money. So we've been circumspect, and we don't send those people to court. We rather get them arrested, educate them, and then release them, and keep the education going. And out of that, we even established rider ambassador, police riders ambassador, to continue to engage these people, so that together we will bring discipline on our roads in our communities. And this has led to the reduction that we have out there, and that led to the situation for a long time having riders average of about 90%. We are still on there. We haven't got it to 100% yet. Stopping at traffic light and waiting for the green to signal before they move on. I thank you.
So, yes, Vice will ask his last question, and then we bring proceedings to a close.
Oh, thank you, Chairman, for granting me the opportunity to, but I've exhausted my questions. I have exhausted my questions.
Right.
So.
I want to read to the benefit of the witnesses before this committee. And I want to call attention to bear on Article 103(6) of the Constitution. A committee appointed under this article shall have the powers, rights, and privileges of the High Court or a justice of the High Court at a trial for A, enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on oath, affirmation or otherwise, compelling the production of documents, and C, issuing a commission or request to examine witnesses abroad. We had an issue with Bugri Nabu, who said because of issues of chieftaincy, National House of Chiefs meeting, he couldn't show up today. And we obliged him that he should come tomorrow. So tomorrow is a sitting of this committee. We are also asking the Minister for National Security to appear tomorrow. So, Inspector General of Police, I know you are a very busy man. Tomorrow, come with your 2 lawyers as we continue proceedings. When we meet, you have a sense of where we are going with this matter. But all that will happen will relate to, first of all, the audio, which it is being said is doctored, and then the second audio that is being said captures the comprehensiveness of the meeting in Chief Bugri Nabu's office. So, Council, I read, the Constitution not for the benefit of the IGP, but for your benefit, because of where you were treading. And we will see how it pans out tomorrow. But if the IGP could say some of your senior officers, I mean, should remain at post, you know, so they don't all come over. It could be good. I mean, so that they'll be attending to businesses in the police headquarters. But we've seen them and respect their coming. Yeah. Yeah?
Your member from Etiwa.
Yes. Yes.
He says Kwame Jan is a political mentor.
We have in our midst also one of the decent ladies who glorify womanhood in the political arena. She's a Deputy Minister for Finance, Honorable Abna. Sorry, you have some association with the lawyer Kwame Jan, or what is it?
With both of them, they are all from Etiwa, and that's why I'm here today. Yeah. Yes. Lawyer Kwame Jan and the IGP.
I didn't know this, you know. I didn't know. It's a fact. He's never told me.
Man is from Mwoso, Akrofu Mwoso.
I've never done that. I've never investigated the IGP. As to where he comes from, I've never attempted that.
Chairman, and yet you are the attacher of Chebi.
Yes. Yes, but the two people are all my subjects, you know. This gentleman and then Abna, but she's not giving me the largesse of her office. And I leave it to God. So, Aji, this is how tomorrow's proceedings are going to begin. Bugre Nabu will be here. You should come. I mean, I think by this medium, he's hearing my voice. You come with his lawyers of consequence. The witnesses should come back tomorrow with their lawyers. The Inspector General of Police should come with his lawyers. The Minister for National Security should show up with his lawyers. And the proceedings will continue. I was glad when I heard IG saying that in relation to arresting politicians with vehicles and they are in a rush, there is also arrest of individuals using motorbikes. But the police establishment exercises discretion in the manner in which they apply the sanctions. The politicians go and pay the huge fines, and then the dispatch, the motor people are educated. You see, I think it's a very fair and reasonable way of human engagement. So tomorrow I will exercise a similar discretion. Yes, and on this note, oh, okay, yes, Honorable Honorable Nogbe joining us. So tomorrow's time is 10 a.m. in the forenoon, and we hope to see all the individuals here, and then we proceed. We appreciate your coming, and in the absence of any other matter, Aji, you want to say a word? Yeah.
Yes, Honorable Chair. By way of my concluding remark, because I know after you have spoken, I won't have the opportunity to speak. Having said that, I want first of all to thank you and the members of the committee for the invitation to come and to speak. I also would like to thank my family, the Kwawu one, the Kropon one, and the Nkonya representing the Guams one, for the encouragement and the support. I also want to thank the Church of my birth and Church of Ghana for their prayers and support across the country. And again, I want to thank the Church of my baptism and fellowship, the Church of Pentecost, from chairman himself to the least person, for their continual prayer support towards me. And more importantly, I want to thank Mr. President for his continual repose in trust in me and the support he gives me. And finally, I want to thank the good people of Ghana, for their words of encouragement, their support, and everything. In the context of thanking the good people of Ghana, I want also to thank the thousands of police officers across the country for the excellent job that they are doing, and the many sending me letters of encouragement, words of encouragement, phone calls, and everything. And I assure them that I will continue doing my best in that capacity, in service of God and in country. I thank you very much, sir.
Well, it's good you came, and God permitting, tomorrow we continue the proceedings. On that note, the proceedings are hereby adjourned to tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. And on that note as well, the head of Ghana's police service and all the witnesses are discharged. Thank you very much.
Active TV, seeing beyond.